One of the cool things that I want to chat a little bit about is our submission text boxes that we have here. We have tons of different ways to organize and edit this. You can go as far as actually looking at the source code if you're interested in that stuff and having it look exactly like you would like. I wouldn't encourage many students to go that route. Before you submit anything, you can always preview what it's going to look like. So if you click this button, it's going to look exactly the same way that I look at. We have word counts, we have all your normal editing stuff like Google Docs, but then a couple cool things that are D2L specific are I can close this out, or I can add a bunch of different stuff. If I look at this first one, it's called insert stuff, which I think is a little bit funny. Good job, D2L. That opens up a whole bunch of information in the background here. Oh, with my recording, you can only see some of it, but you can choose files on your computer. You can add a voice note, a link to a bunch of different things like YouTube or any URL. Over here, we have something called the quick links. You guys don't have access to as many things as I do through this, but you can link other stuff in our D2L. And then the one that's actually pretty helpful is how you format these different pieces. So you can put a table or an equation editor. You can insert different smileys or math-specific symbols. There'll come times in our course where these symbol choices can be pretty helpful. If you go down to our math, we have our basic math symbols here. We'll talk about other ways to find those down the road. Let's take a look at this equation editor. I can look at a bunch of different pieces of this. Specifically, I'm going to go my graphing one. Let's scroll or move this down just a little bit so you can see it. There you go. So we have tons of different ways that we can work through these. We have all these different options of organization of how we can format different equations. This is your most basic one. It's how we can organize things like rationals or fractions. It's how we can do square roots, different powers. So if I'm going to create something like this square root, we see the actual image of the square root function right there. I can change it from a square root to a cube root. For example, I can put a 3 or a 2 or a 1, which we don't talk about, or a 4. Let's leave it as a 2. And I say the square root of 4. But let's say I want to make that 4 to the power of 2. I can add in an extra exponent right there. There is a small little insert at the bottom here, and we see that I've included that in my actual dialog box for my work. I can also go ahead and add in things like f of x equals, and then type in anything that I'd like here. You don't always have to use the equation tool, but it would be helpful a lot of the time.